Hi everybody, it's Faye, and today I am here to work on part 2 of my character creation series. I am going to talk today about character design, so we're going to talk about everything from what I look to for inspiration to how I put it all together to create like the final drawing or example of what my character is going to look like. So let's go do it! So the first thing I do when I am starting to look for inspiration for a character that I am working on is go to Pinterest. I really enjoy it for the ability to create separate boards, so each of my LARP characters can have their own sort of sheet. So one of the first things I'm going to do is, because I'm a felinae, I want to decide what kind of felinae I'm going to be. Felinae are kind of native to the area around Damascus, which is kind of like Egypt, but they come from all over the world, so really they can be any type of cat and from any part of the in-game world. My character is actually from Damascus, and so I did a couple of searches. I went with African big cats and looked at a few different options there, and for a while I was looking at a carousel or maybe like a cheetah, and neither of those really struck me, so then I went with smaller cats, and I decided to go with the Egyptian Mao. So I looked up Egyptian Mao, and I saved a bunch of pictures. A big one that I look at when I'm saving pictures of animals that I'm going, or saving any picture that I'm going to use for like makeup inspiration especially, is I'm looking for the parts of my body that are going to be exposed and trying to get good shots of those areas. So we're looking for a really good example of a Mao's facial markings, and you can see here, I'm going to zoom in, that this photo is really clear. You can really clearly see those facial markings. Another thing that I found actually way more difficult with the Mao was getting a picture of a Mao from the back. Everyone wants to see that beautiful Mao face, but I needed the backs of the ears because I need to make ears for this character. So I'm looking for ears and for tails that are, again, very clear and visible, so that I can make a tail and make a pair of ears for the character. Now, I'm not seeing one in this search, but I did find a good tail example that I will show you when I pull up my finished board. So yeah, this is essentially what I do. Is the first thing I'm looking for is inspiration for the character makeup, the racial makeup that I'm going to be using. Here's a good one of the tail, so you can see. Let me just drop you guys down a little bit without dropping the camera all the way down. You can see the tail markings are really nice and sharp there. So now we're gonna go back up and zoom out so you can see the whole screen again. So yeah, so the first thing I'm doing is looking up racial makeup, because that's going to go underneath everything else that you're doing. So you need to do your racial makeup before you can do your clothing or anything, or accessories or anything else. And I really work from the skin out when I'm looking at character creation. So this is a really nice example of the markings on their neck. So I'll probably have some of these chest and neck markings on the chest piece that I'm making for the character. So yeah. That's kind of where I start with. That's starting at the skin. So another thing I looked up when I was looking for my feline, whatever, character, is there are characters in the real world that are already a feline-human mix. One of those is a really obvious example of the Khajiit. So I looked up Khajiit cosplays, because this is going to give me ideas of how other people have created a feline-human hybrid character. Now, I didn't want anything with a mask because I'm going to be doing this in the middle of the summer. So I was looking specifically for ones that used makeup. So there are a few Khajiit images in my thing where I was looking for that feline makeup ideas. You know, what kinds of things to enhance the eyes and make them more feline. What they did for their noses, all that kind of stuff. This is another feline makeup that you can see. And so you can see a lot of feline do those really dark outlines around the eyes to really enhance and deepen the eyes. There's a lot of white around the eyes as well, white around the muzzle, markings around to create the nose. So I was really looking for good examples of that kind of thing. Not just what cats look like, but what cats look like when they're intersected with people. Homepage again, I am going to start looking for things that I want to do for the character's costuming. So I'm starting really basic with Egyptian fashion. And this is going to find me all sorts of really cool Egyptian-inspired fashion. And it really does, it's very much that kind of basic, inspired by ancient Egyptian art and costuming. When you type it in that. It's just about knowing what to type in for your costuming, right? So like I said, because I know she's from kind of an Egyptian-inspired culture, I was looking for Egyptian-style clothing. This works well for just about any period. If you're playing in a medieval, any sort of medieval setting, you can either type in medieval or whatever country of medieval fashion you're looking for. Another option if you're doing like a post-apocalyptic fashion, dystopian fashion, that sort of thing. So it works kind of all across the board for just finding costuming inspirations, and the one that really struck me was this one here. So I'm probably going to be creating something similar to this, and you'll see when I have my final sketch done, kind of what I have in mind. So I'm really inspired by like all the flowy, delicate, it's very summery, light materials. I don't know what I'm going to do for her in the winter, but since I'm starting her in the summer, I think I'm okay. So yeah, so there's all sorts of different inspirations and options. There's some really cool like armor type or like shrugs. Amazing jewelry inspiration if you're ever looking for that. But yeah, so what I'm really interested in is like this kind of very soft, kind of romantic, flowy materials. So, but I also want something she can fight in, because like that first dress I showed you, she's not necessarily going to be able to fight in. Like something like that is going to be really difficult to fight in. So we're also going to get her kind of like what she'd be wearing under this to decide what to fight in. So this is my final board of what I picked out for my Felinae. So you can see I've got a bunch of mouths, tails, faces, very obviously articulated. I did also pin a tutorial on creating realistic animal ears. I have a few of the cats that I had looked at previously. A tail tutorial. I've got a few of those Khajiit makeups because I was talking to you about kind of the mix between human and feline. I've got several dresses that I pinned for her day-to-day wear. And then I've got... This was the initial one I found in kind of the Egyptian style. And then I remembered that I had pinned this in a different LARP. And I just thought, this is so perfect for what I'm imagining for the character that I think this is probably something that I'm going to go with, or something very similar when I draw up the design. So I've got my kind of makeup look, I've got my clothing look, and I've got kind of an idea of tutorials that I can use to create the feline aspects. So I am going to kind of put this together in a drawing. Another option that a lot of people use is that they will take, like, say, this image, just, like, take the image of the dress that I liked, and they'll start, you know, pasting stuff on it. So they'll cut out the dress, and they'll paste it onto a picture of themselves. And they'll add, like, feline features in Photoshop, and, like, cut out ears and tails. And you can do this with cutouts. Like, you can print the pictures and cut them out and collage them. You can do it in Photoshop or Psy. Just what... whatever works for you. I finished dying from that coughing fit that I was having as I finished up. I'm going to go over my finished sketch. So I draw out my characters. As I said before, you can use just about any application online that has like a cut and paste feature. A lot of people Photoshop or Sigh, or even like if you want to get really basic, you can go into Paint, or you can even just print it out and cut the pieces apart and tape them back together in a style that appeals to you. I like drawing it because I can do it in the colors that I'm planning to do the outfit, and in this case I have some fabric that I think will suit the look, and I'm just going to be reusing it for this. So, here is my final character look. I will do a close-up of this and insert it here. And just go over some of the features. So, I did pull kind of the look of that dress with the metal or like beaded neck piece and the kind of flowiness of it. It probably won't be super, I don't think it'll go too much past my ankles just because I don't want to trip over it. But the idea is there, right? I also pulled in, I have these sleeve patterns that I wanted to try. Again, they would have that kind of beaded, I think this is probably going to be like a stretchy beaded top to match the neckline, and then it's going to have like a darker sheer material draped there. That's just going to be so I don't have to have quite so much arm makeup on. This outfit is it reveals a lot of skin, which is going to require a lot of racial makeup. So this is her kind of like day-to-day outfit, and then I've got her, what I would call her combat or training outfit. So she's got just a very basic kind of dark blue tank top, which I'll probably pick up. These I'm going to see if I can get at like a Value Village or something in similar colors to the fabric I have for the dress. I gave her this kind of metal armband. I don't know if that's going to work out. And then of course her pouches. This is going to be the staff I'm making for her. And then just a scarf with holes cut out for her ears. So, video in series, and kind of like I said, just how I go about the character design. Next week I'm going to go over the skin of the character, so your racial makeup. We'll be doing up her. I bought a latex nose prosthetic that I'll be wearing. If you're allergic to latex, there are silicone options that you can get. They're a little more expensive usually. Or you can paint it on, and I may actually do two options. So I may do a painted option and then also the silicone or the latex prosthetic option. And I'm also going to make her ears and tails next week and show you how I do that. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you next week, and I'm so glad that this one's going to be on time this week. Hopefully we can continue the pattern. Bye guys!